This is a quick video to show the problem with the Nissan Titan. I had this problem 6 or 7 years ago, and I fixed it the way that I thought that it should be fixed. Basically what happens is this is the top of the airbox, and this is the blend door actuator. It adjusts the hot and cold, and it was making a popping sound, and it then eventually it went to where it wouldn't get hot. So I went into Nissan. Long story short, they wanted a whole bunch of money to fix it, so I decided to tear into it myself. And what I found was that right here there's a little plastic tab that comes up off of the main airbox, and we're right up on top of the whole dash, right up on top of it. So basically everything has to come apart. That's why it's so expensive for Nissan to fix it. There's a lot of labor involved. But this little plastic tab right here, I found that it was bent back away from this arm. So it was bent back this way. And what was happening is as this little tracked wheel was spinning, it would cause the arm to basically bottom out on the little plastic tab right there, and eventually bent it. So it's essentially making a little ramp. So when the wheel spins completely to one side, instead of stopping at the stop, it would put a little pressure against it and cause the arm to ride up on essentially this little ramp that was supposed to be just a stop. And when it rode up on the ramp, it would cause the whole assembly to lift up, and then that eventually caused this little plastic piece here to pop out of this track. And then that's where when it actuates, it no longer switches it from hot to cold. It just stuck wherever it is. So I identified this problem, and I've seen another fix since then with a strap made to keep this down. But what I did is I fabricated this aluminum part that basically fits exactly in here, and I actually built it up with aluminum so that it fits underneath the tab here, so that when this piece is in here, that the tab actually holds it down. And then the same thing over here, when you screw the blend door actuator motor bracket down, it actually pushes down on this tab, or it meets up with the tab there, holding it down. I also put a little bit of adhesive underneath of it, but the way it fits in there, it essentially can't move because it touches kind of multiple spots when you put it in there, and then when you screw everything back down, it actually is essentially holding it into place as well. So it lasted 6 or 7 years, and then ended up getting the popping sound, or more like a clicking sound again, on full cold. So I went ahead and pulled it apart again and found that my piece was still intact and seemed to be in good working order, but the motor was clicking when it went to all the way to one side. So I pulled the motor apart and looked in and found that piece right there with a couple broken teeth on the gear. So it was actually the motor this time. So I went to Nissan, got a new motor, and I'm gonna put it back in, and hopefully everything will be working good. But this is how I fixed the Nissan Titan problem, was by building this little aluminum bracket in there, welded some little tabs on it. This is the main piece right here, where there used to be a little plastic tab. It actually still just barely sits behind it, and that is the main piece right there. It acts as the stop, because that's what fails on the original Nissan Titan airbox, is that little tab failed and causes all your problems. Other than, I think that the actual motors go out as well, like it did this time, 5 or 6, 7 years later, with a broken tooth causing it to click. So that was my fix, and I'm going to put it back together, and hopefully I'll get another 5 or 6 or 7 years out of it, or maybe this will be the final time.